Hey, what's up YouTube? It's Shane, the Hallowed Heathen here. Welcome back to the channel. As you guys can see, I'm outside in the gorgeous state of Utah. Just really enjoying the weather. Really, honestly, soaking in the sun and really just, enjoying the fresh air, right? One of the things I've tried to incorporate into my daily routine as a way to just overall improve general health, as I've tried to take, the time or set aside the time or schedule the time to allow myself to get away from the computer, get away from the grind, and really just get outside and kind of really breathe deeply the fresh air and allow myself to recalibrate, recenter, and reground, if you will. So there's already been extraordinary positive effects because of that. So it's been great. I'm thinking clearer, I'm sleeping better, and I'm really keep myself motivated by getting away and stepping away, right? And in doing so, I've had actually somewhat of a revelation. So, at the risk of sounding preachy, I'm now going to share said revelation with you. So, one of the things I found is that I've always been a very outdoorsy person. I've always loved to be outdoors and doing activities with my family, whether it be hiking, taking a walk, son's football practice, son's baseball practice, basketball, whatever, right? I've always really wanted to be outside. And one of the things I've discovered is every time I went outside, it was always for an outcome, right? It was always to get a desired outcome or reach a certain endpoint. Like if you go on a hike, it's all about reaching the end of the trail, the destination. If you go on a walk, it's always about, returning home safe in one piece and having enjoyed the walk. If it's a football practice, it's all about, making sure my boy is giving 110% of everything he has to really truthfully give to his team, right? But I've never really allowed myself or found myself enjoying the journey or enjoying the atmosphere, right? Well, ever since this whole quarantine thing, I found myself to be like a kid on his first road trip, where I'm glued to the window and enjoying all the sights, all the sounds, and really taking it all in, right? And as an adult, I found myself doing that. I've gone on walks and found myself enjoying every step of that walk, enjoying every breath, enjoying every sight that I've seen a million times in my daily life, but really taking it all in and breathing deep. All that is life, right? And with that being said, it's now become about slowing down and enjoying the journey and not just about the desired outcome. So, as you know, we're still under the whole quarantine thing, and Utah itself has issued a stay-at-home order, which basically means all public parks, public hiking trails, public walkways have been closed off, and people are being strongly urged to stay inside, stay on the property, and not really wander too far from home and stay out of the public, because that's kind of their response or their way of combating the whole the spread or the increasing cases of this COVID-19, right? Which is awesome. I definitely support their combative approach, their proactive approach. I really highly commend them for that. But at the same time, it's actually allowed me to again get a new grip on life to where I'm really enjoying every step along the way, right? Which brings me into my topic. So, as you guys read in the title, today we are talking about one of my favorite subjects of all time, which is the Vikings and the Viking culture and what draws me towards their specific set of beliefs, right? So I've always been insanely fascinated by their entire culture ever since I was a young kid. I've developed more and more of their culture as I've gotten older, and now that I'm, now that I'm in my 30s, I've really kind of, stuck to their culture like glue and kind of, stuck to their mindset. And one of the things that's always fascinated me about their culture is the fact that every single Viking, right? Every single one of the motherfuckers knew how to live life to the fullest. They took life and they squeezed it for every fucking thing it was worth. And the reason as to why is because they lived every moment of every day of their life like it was the last moment here on Earth. They lived it with an amazing amount of intensity, amazing amount of passion, an amazing amount of intent and purpose. They lived every day as a way to carve their path, to build their name, to create their legacy, and hopefully earn their spot amongst the gods, right? That was their ultimate goal, is to earn their spot amongst the gods and really have stories to share with other fallen Vikings and the gods themselves about their successes, their triumphs, their failures, and overall their legacy that was their life, right? That was their goal from the time they were born. They were born believing that if they had done everything they possibly could in life to build this legacy, they'd be honored for it, and they'd be allowed to share it in the afterlife. Their afterlife was seen as an extension of their direct life, right? Their afterlife wasn't seen as, you know, the end of something. It was seen as the end of a chapter and the beginning of a new one, right? Their afterlife wasn't something that they feared, wasn't something that they had any qualms about or any, you know, any negative thoughts on. I mean, they honestly lived each and every day of their life with a belief that their death and their end was predetermined. So they welcomed that, right? They allowed themselves to really, you know, not hold back and really welcome the idea of death, because in their death, that's how they determined whether or not they earned their way into the Valhalla and into, you know, into the presence of the gods, right? Which to me is incredible. And they really once again knew how to truthfully take life by the horns, if you will. So if you think about it, they are located in some of the harshest and most extreme areas in the entire world, right? And not only were they able to dig deep and cultivate and settle, they're also able to thrive. And thrive they fucking did. They built themselves a fucking empire based off of the no fear mentality, based off of no excuses, based off of just doing whatever the fuck it took to get what they wanted out of life, right? And more so, when you dig a little bit deeper into their theology, their gods themselves, unlike any other culture out there, their gods were gods, yes, but they weren't immortal, right? They are basically an extension of themselves. They were beings who were great and had a lot of power, but they weren't immortal. They were able to be killed. They were able to be slain. And all the power and knowledge that they had to go through trials and tribulations to obtain that, right? They had to make sacrifices along the way. They had to go through trials, and they really had to, you know, go through the shit, if you will, and go through hell and back in order to gain what they had as gods. That was their god stories. Their gods had to sacrifice and give, and their gods had to be willing to fail and willing to lose in order to obtain what they wanted. I mean, for fuck's sakes, their all-father, their main god, Odin, gave his eye to acquire knowledge. He was literally a god that wanted to expand his mind, expand his knowledge as much as possible, and he's willing to sacrifice his eye to do so, right? I mean, what does that tell you? These are people who are truly accustomed to the idea of sacrifice. They live for it, right? They are passionate and determined enough to really give and do whatever the fuck it takes to accomplish and gain what they want out of life, right? And that to me is just an extraordinary mindset to have. That to me, honestly, is something that I feel like we've lost along the way. I feel like our modern culture has made things easier than ever to get what you want, which is a good thing and a bad thing, right? It's allowed people to really explore their lives and explore possibilities more so, with more ease and less risk. But at the same time, it's made people less passionate and less cutthroat about obtaining that, right? It's made people so they now have the ability to make excuses or to claim imagined slights, right? And it allows us to have a weaker mindset of, you know, oh, well, we weren't given this because of that, or, you know, it really allows us to give in to our situation and really just, you know, blame our failure on something else, right? These guys had no excuses. They had no remorse. They had no reason to blame anybody else but themselves, right? I mean, every failure was seen as an opportunity to learn, an opportunity to get better, right? And that to me is just fucking phenomenal. And that's just once again a very light touch on the Viking culture. I will definitely dive more into it in further videos, but I want to just touch base with you guys real quick and make a real quick video and really express my thoughts and my beliefs, and really, you know, encourage you guys to have no remorse, take no prisoners, right? Have no excuses, and get out there and do whatever the fuck it is you want and or need to do to get whatever it is you want out of life, right? Have that cutthroat, no bullshit mentality to where you're willing to really dig in deep and sacrifice everything for something you believe in. Anyways, that's my spiel. I'm gonna go and step on my soapbox. Hope you guys are having a fucking excellent day. I have been inspired and motivated and just on point all fucking week. Just really enjoying everything about life and breathing deeply. And honestly, I'm coming to enjoy experiences more and more as I grow as a person, as well as a father, as a husband, as well as individually my own personal fitness goals. So again, thank you guys. If you got something out of this, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, share this, and have yourself a fucking excellent day. I'm out. See you.